Hey guys, choRRus here. Before we start this video, I need to make a really small announcement. Nexus Kid, Hand to Mouth. I don't know if there were other people involved, but those were the names I remember they mentioned. They started this thing, and there's a comment on episode 10 of Doki Doki Literature Club, part 2. I think one of my moderators pinned it up, but he also requested that I mention it in this video. So I'm going to mention it now and also put it in the description so that it can be more accessible because I don't think it's getting the traffic that they want. So check out this link. I don't know what it is, but there's something that they're doing and I'm growing suspicious. But just thought I'd mention it. So the link will be in the description above everything else. I don't know what it is, but check it out. But I will find out soon enough. And with that out of the way, let's get started with the video. Thanks. Oops. Wrong button. This one. Calibration no longer required, and welcome to another episode of... I guess it's a watch-along. I'm going to go with watch-along because I'm going to watch some videos that were sent to me. Yeah, so welcome to another episode of Watch Along with choRRus. That's me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we have, I guess, I really don't know. I should probably plan before I start talking, but it's just, I don't know, I like just rolling with it. So here we go. Today we have a couple of videos that were sent to me. The topic is Doki Doki Literature Club, but from what I understood, it was fan-made things, and two of them actually have to do with a more deeper analysis of the series. So I'm kind of curious about that. I know I mentioned it before that they were, actually I feel like talking about Doki Doki as a whole. So I might do that in the end. I might just talk about everything as a whole. Because I know there were some things that I mentioned and touched, but I didn't really go into in depth into them. So now or later. Usually I talk about things after I watch. So let's get these not out of the way because it's not like they're not important, but let's get these taken care of. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. Let's get them taken care of. And then we'll move on to a bit more of in-depth talking about this series. It's not really a series. This, I don't want to call it a game neither, but saga. There we go. It's this saga. So let's get started. I have to choose. I have the option to choose between what are music videos or the analysis videos. Now, since today is Friday, I'm gonna go ahead and take it easy. Let's start with the music videos first. So let's get them going. So first off, let's fix the camera. We're going this way, and I'm gotten pretty good at this. So here we go. Boop 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 boop. I'll just scoop myself right there, right there. Perfect. All right, so let's get started. First up, we have they don't have an order, so I'm just gonna pick one. This one sounds interesting. It's called Doki Doki Forever by Oreo featuring Reichi, Chi-Chi, and Kathy-chan. So, Doki Doki Forever starting now. Spoilers and flashing. That's cute. I gotta put up the volume here. It is. Uh-oh. Oh, it's green. That's probably Monika. No. Oh no. Oh, Sayori, no. Okay, nothing. It had its few share of moments of just like, every now and then, but that's so messed up though. That's so messed up. Sayori was singing her line and then Monica just comes in and is like, ah, let me take over. I got this. That's good. That's good. So I always found, all right, let me talk about this one really quick. I always found that when people make songs about a particular theme or subject, we see the end result, right? We see how it came out. And what we don't see is the effort, the dedication, the passion, and the details that go into actually making this a reality. Every time I see something like this and then I find out it's fan made, that for me is so, I don't want to say the word that comes to my mind, but I don't want to say that humbling. But it's not really humbling because it does make me feel humble, but it's not the only thing that I feel. It's also a sense of admiration and also a sense of like, wow, that was, I don't say it's something I'll never be able to do. I'm sure anybody, whoever puts their mind to it and dedication and effort, will achieve anything that they want to accomplish. But I see it as something that where I currently stand right now with my skills and my toolkit, so to say, I can't currently do something like that. And when I see others do it, I feel proud for them. I feel so, I guess proud is the best word. I feel so like wow, like proud. I feel so proud for these people that have created this. Again, their names were Oreo, um, Raichi, Chi Chi, and Kathy Chan, and that for me, to them, that was amazing. Great job. Really, really creative. Really, really nice. And then you incorporated some aspects of the game when Monika, drives Sayori to do her thing. Um, and then you just add it as part of her like taking it, and also the foreshadowing that was in there too. I think was really creative. The foreshadowing of like when the chorus is, I think it's after the chorus, the line that says "We're never gonna be apart," and then you put Monica saying it in green text. That's the sign. That's the sign. I picked it up. I saw it. And it's so good. It's so good. I loved it. I loved it. Really good job. Really great. I don't know if you guys will ever see this video, but if you ever do, you have my respect and my I'm proud for you being able to produce something like this, especially with a series that resonated so much with me. It makes me appreciate it even a little bit more. So thank you. That was really good stuff. Really great stuff. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next one, and this one is called "Why Did I Say Do?" Why did I say Okie Doki? Um, that's cute. Why did I say Okie Doki by Stupendium? So let's get started with that one. Why did I say Okie Doki by Stupendium? Starting now.
Stupendium.
Excuse me, Stupendium.
I walk to school with my best friend. Surprise, surprise, she's late again. She's got a club, she wants me in. Don't think I've ever raised a pen. I'll consider it sure. No fan of literature. Books with less pictures than words leave me a little bit bored. Hey, they promise cupcakes, so it's a chance that I'll take. Four gorgeous girls await me. Okay, I think that I'll stay. Sayori's aloof and cute, Natsuki's sweet and cute, Yuri is deep and brooding, Monika's brains and beauty. There's a festival needs planning, swear I won't leave them hanging. So many
oh no!
I guess it's just the five of us. Just the five of us. We can make it if we try, but each day that passes by is tearing pages from my mind. Just the five of us, no escaping if I try. Though these maidens may seem kind, there's something going on behind.
Yes.
They look so sad and lonely. I sold my soul for poetry. This hell is members only. Why did I say Okie Doki? Anger, anger, out, out, anger.
Oh no.
I'll walk to school alone again. I'm not a guy with many friends. I got no club, I've time to spend, so I read manga and stay in. I run into Monika, says that I should just join hers. It's a club for books with words, but they need some more members. I say okay, I'll come along, but just one day. But just you try to get away.
Look at Yuri.
Beg you to stay.
Oh no.
Yuri is too into me. Monika's brains and beauty. It's almost festival time. Could say we're cutting it fine. The task may seem laborious. I wonder where Sayori is.
Oh, it's so
I guess
good.
it's just the four of us.
Oh.
Just the four of us. We can make it if we try.
Oh, come on.
Tearing pages from my mind. Just the four of us. No escaping if I try. Though these maidens may seem kind, there's something going on behind. They look so sad and lonely. I sold my soul for poetry. This hell is members only. Why did I say Okie Doki? Well, I'm back at school again. Monika's my only friend. Monika's my everything. My beginning and my end. Wait a second. Weren't there other girls here?
No.
Monika, loop and cookie. Monika, sweet and cutie. Monika, deep and brooding. Monika, brains and beauty. Monika, sees right through me. Monika, all that you need. Monika, all that you need. Monika, all that you need. I'm not an ugly guy, but I can understand why she'd be so utterly in love. She'd leave her clubmates to die. Monika's obsession is ominous, to be honest. Omnipotent goddess, concocting demonic sonnets. I could delete her, but I never could harmonica. So I'm trapped here forever, was my harmonica. Never thought I'd get it, girl, literally out of this world. Guess she controls the universe. Looks like it's just the two of us. Just the two of us. In this classroom in the sky. Crimes of passion are just fine when enacted on AI. Just the two of us. Quite a drastic pick-up line, leaving characters to die just to guarantee your mind. She seems so sad and lonely. Don't think there's any hope for me. There's hell members only. Why did I say okie dokie? Why did I say okie dokie? Why did I say okie dokie? That's okay. Why did I say okie dokie? Why did I say okie dokie? Say okay.
Aww.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that song, then why not Monika to the channel for more songs about Monika, and just Monika. And if you do,
Be sure to ring that Monika. In the meantime, smash that Monika button and
good Monika.
Good Monika. Wow. Okay. So this is also very good. This guy, the Stupendium fella, he took it, in my opinion, one step further because he actually incorporated the fact that the game breaks the fourth wall and reaches out to the real you know, not just the main character in the game. He actually reaches to the player of the game. And in the end, when it's just Monika, he actually puts himself in the animation, and that is so good. I appreciate all these little details. So good. It hurt. It hurt when Sayori, instead of her little cute little chibi icon, they put the little hanging chibi icon, and that is so sad. But wow, I'm actually really impressed by this video. This guy, he like I said, he took it like one extra step further, and really incorporated other aspects of the game. The lyrics and the composition, so good. It tells the story. It has its rhyme. It's not free verse. It actually has, you know, a pattern to it. That's good. That's really good. Gosh, I wish I could praise it more, but I'm slightly overwhelmed by the amount of goodness that's inside of this video. But really well done. Really well done. Gosh, let's talk about the aspect of him following the playthroughs of the game, and then the character profiles, they change each time. I can't say it enough. It's so good. It was really good. So fun to watch. Different things, and then so it starts off like the normal playthrough, but it's just the five of us, and we can make it in time if we try. But then it's I wonder where Sayori is. So good. And then it just goes on, and then it's just Monika. And I honestly, I'm trying to gather my thoughts so I can talk about this a little bit more, but I'm replaying the whole thing in my mind, and I'm just enjoying it. I'm not actually thinking about it. I'm just enjoying it while I replay it in my mind. Stupendium, that was really good. That was really good. Your level of effort, detail, and how much I have an idea. Okay, I've created projects. And I have a concept. I'm not even going to call it an idea, but I have a concept of the amount of tracking, making sure you involve the key points that you want to involve, and making sure you carry with the aspects that you want to incorporate in your creation. I have a concept of how intricate and not difficult, but complex it can be. I once tried to do an animation, and I had particular mind aspects of what I wanted to do, and I actually carried it through, and I did it, and it was hard because at one point I felt myself deviating from the original script, or not the script, the plan that I wanted to do. So I had a hard time coming back to align myself so that I can actually put those points that I want to put. But the aspects of the game that you incorporated here, I'm picking up on them, and they're so good. They're so good. You chose not to delete Monika, and I didn't. I'm just going back to my own experience. I didn't delete Monika at the beginning. I just changed her name, but that undid everything, and I guess I ruined it in a way because of that. But you decided to stay with Monika, and you pulled out your harmonica. So good. So enjoy your stay with Monika, just the two of you. So good, so good. But yeah, let's move on now to the last music video, which is called, hold on a second. Okay. Just Monika by Random Encounters. All right. So starting now.
I'm so glad you're joining the literature club.
Hey, I never got to join.
Oh, wow, Sayori, who's your friend? He's our club's newest member.
That's not set in stone.
This is Monika, Yuri, and that's Suki. And you all know me. Welcome to a meeting. Are you into reading? No need for being coy. We'll improve your uptake. Have a freaking cupcake and must you be a boy. It's time to write some poems. Don't be scared to show them. The festival's days away. Look so faking. We're gonna make it. And I will come along today.
No.
Maybe we're friends, maybe we're more. How could you love a simple girl next door? I'm just not the type he's looking for. Hey, so you're doing okay? I'm having a difficult day. I'd say you seem pretty lonely.
I wish I could make her green like she was. I think back to where they've been.
She's depressed and stressed and she's feeling blue, so I don't see your reason.
No. Oh no.
Just Monika, just Monika, just Monika, just Monika, just Monika, just Monika, just Monika. I'm so glad you joined the literature club.
Wait, what happened to you?
There's no one here named that. Mandate and passion, don't you that passion, dividing that finance. Maybe you should battle these until tomorrow. Will you
I was reading.
Let's go read the story.
Whatever.
Let's talk about me instead. I've been learning piano and this is soprano, and I can't get you out of my head. Can't look away, can't help but blush. Where did I get this overwhelming crush? It's sharp as a knife and twice the rush.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
You, there's something I think you should know. I've never seen you so insane and chill and still kind of sway. Don't mind cutting to the chase. I'm in love with you and your gorgeous face. That sentiment I can't allow. So my dear friend, you're right. It's get a good point now. Just Monika, just Monika, just Monika, just Monika.
Her face.
Just Monika, just Monika, just Monika, just Monika. You guessed, maybe new. Natsuki is next, I'm deleting her too. We don't need cupcakes upon the tea. I only need you to love me. Subscribe to Reynna Records channel to never miss new videos and click the bell to enable notifications. Hey, there's no one else in our way. So look at me and just say right here, my dear, that you love me. And we'll sit here till the end of time. Cause I've earned this and you're finally mine. And I'm sorry what you had to see, but it no longer matters. Cause now you belong to me. Forever, just 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 forever. Well, look what the cat back to.
Yay, Sayori.
Sayori? You still in the literature club?
Of course, I'm the president after all. Well, Sayori, who's your friend? He's a newest member. I'm guessing that's nuts and so.
This time, I think it is.
Why don't you join us? I was just getting Natsuki here into my favorite horror novel.
Hey, it's not like a lecture or anything. So, are you walking home with anyone after this?
Just my friend Sayori.
Aww.
Just Sayori, just Sayori, just Sayori, just Sayori, just Sayori, just Sayori, just Sayori.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. No thanks for watching. Thank you for making these. These are so good. Oh my god, I love this one so much. And I'm being biased now because it's because of the ending. Just Sayori. Oh, that was so good too. Goodness, I'm so happy you guys proposed these videos over to my mods. And they said yes. I'm so happy. This is so good. Just Sayori. Just Sayori. I'm gonna be stuck with that in my mind now. Oh, again, the creativity going in and just picking up the storyline of the game and the aspects of the game. My cheeks hurt. I was smiling so much near the end, but it was so good. Picking the aspects and the story and the particular key points of it. And what about Sayori? Oh no, it's so good. And then the line with Monika is, "I've earned this end." So good, so powerful. Man, I feel like watching these again. I really do. All of them. All of them. But I'm not going to put you through that. You can go back in the video if you ever want to watch them again. But after I finish recording, I'm definitely going to watch them again because they're so good. They're so good. All of them. Gosh. The Doki Doki Forever, the part where would it be too much if you have to choose just one of us? Yes, it would. I would pick all of you. Incorporating real life into the animation. Why did I say Okie Doki by Stupendium? And just Monika. Oh my gosh. And then Monika's face. Monika's face every time she does something. She's like with her little cute little cat face like, Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I love it messed up. I don't want you hanging around her anymore because she seems depressed. No. No, it's terrible, but it's so good. It's so well done. So nicely executed. Gosh, I loved all three of these videos. To all the creators out there, thank you so much for making them. Thank you so much for making them. You know, you say thanks for watching. I kind of, you know what? I just had a aha moment. I always thank you guys for your support, and I'm guessing this is how you feel. I'm guessing in a way. Not that I'm saying that my quality of videos are as good as these three animations, but what I am saying is that you enjoy my content, you enjoy my videos, and I'm guessing in a way you feel like me right now, where you just thank the creators for making these things. But this is like high level caliber stuff. This is amazing. This is good stuff. I really enjoyed it. Wow, that was good. Just say Yori. Oh, I love it. I'm gonna see if I can. Do they sell these songs? I want to buy these songs. I really do. All three of them. And if there's more out there that I'm not aware of, do send it my way. I will not mind watching them. All right, so moving on. Now we get into the more serious analytical aspect department. And we have two videos. I think they have a one. There's a one here. So this one goes first. And it's from Game Theory, a Doki Doki Scariest Monster is Hiding in Plain Sight Literature Club. I can't read this title that well. It has a lot of characters and symbols. Okay, Game Theory. A Doki Doki Scariest Monster is Hiding in Plain Sight Doki Doki Literature Club. So, let's I think I got it right. So let's get started. Apparently this is an analysis video of the game, which is interesting. I'm really curious to see. Game Theory. I think I've heard that before. I'm certain I've heard that before. Game Theory. Let's get started. Starting now.
Oh, no way! A text message. Who's it from?
Yeah, okay, I know this guy. I've heard this voice before. I forgot what it was that I watched from him. Gosh, I forgot his name too. Oh, man, names. Whatever. I'm stalling. I shouldn't stall. Let me reset the video. And starting now.
Oh, no way! A text message. Who's it from? Aw, Jacksepticeye, how sweet. And there's a picture? Wait, that's not how I wrote this gag. Another one? What's going on here?
Wait. What the heck? Steph! Steph, are you pranking me?
You promised you'd spend time with me, Matt. Me. And only me. 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 Now let's make a theory together.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where it's our goal to systematically prove that everything in your life is secretly terrifying. Over the years, we've made you fear public Wi-Fi, minimum wage jobs, and even the house next door. But today, we're gonna talk about a game that'll make you stop trusting the very computer you're using to watch this video. Unless you're part of the 75% of users who watch this show on a tablet, phone, console, or TV. In which case, just pretend you're scared too. Ooh, okay? Okay. Looking at its Steam store page, Doki Doki Literature Club seems harmless enough. A cutesy, pastel-tinged dating sim starring 4 adorable waifus, as the kids say, all of whom you can try your hand at wooing for the low, low price of free. But look a little closer and it quickly becomes clear that this game isn't the fun, light-hearted visual novel that it makes itself out to be. For starters, the top tag on the Steam store page is psychological horror, which makes it seem misclassified. And at the bottom of the game's description, which is a cute little greeting note from the Literature Club's president Monika, you'll find a very stern warning in bold letters. This game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. And in case you missed that one, the game greets you with that message yet again as you boot it up. One final reminder that this isn't meant for the faint of heart. It seems like a joke, right? But let me assure you, it is no joke. So in that spirit, this is your last chance to stop watching this video before I spoil the heck out of it. It is without exaggeration one of the best written, most surprising game stories of this year, even if it takes about 2 hours of fairly slow-paced visual novel action before you get to the really good stuff. Play it yourself, you're not going to regret it, or just watch our highlight playthroughs on GT Live. You'll get the point. Okay, so if you're still here after that and you haven't played the game or watched our GT Live playthrough, which I'm sure is still a lot of you, let me give you a quick rundown. During your first playthrough, Doki Doki Literature Club seems like a normal visual novel with a pretty neat mechanic of composing poems in order to woo the various girls in the club. Your childhood friend Sayori, quiet bookish Yuri, and young aggressive Natsuki. But at the end of your first run, strange things begin happening. It all starts when Sayori succumbs to her depression and commits suicide. Soon after, she's deleted from the story entirely, and you're kicked back to the title screen. But something is clearly not right this time. As you replay the game, the world begins breaking apart as it tries to move forward without Sayori in it. Eventually, you discover that the club's president Monika has become self-aware within the game and is manipulating the game's code, even files on your very computer in a desperate attempt to make you, the player, love her. When nothing else works, she deletes everything else in the game, leaving just Monika. Just Monika and you in the club room with nothing to do but talk. Forever. At least until you do what she did to the other characters and delete her character file in order to save everyone else.
Pause or change her name. Resume.
And reach the true ending. Doki Doki Literature Club intentionally leaves a lot dangling for gamers to figure out on their own. But out of all of it, one question has been bugging me nonstop since I finished playing it. What is the story behind Monika? The game presents her as simply being a character in a visual novel who suddenly becomes self-aware, but all of that doesn't quite add up.
Pause. Also, the fact that whoever steps into the role of president becomes self-aware. So it's something to do with like the president title that people earn in the game and then becoming self-aware, because it based on the first playthrough that I did, when I didn't have Monika in the file and I was messing around with the characters and I just had Sayori, she became self-aware, but it was too early for her to become self-aware. And then she's like, no, what's this? This can't be all there is. Make it stop, and then the game crashes. And also, she becomes self-aware, and depending on how you play the game, in the ending, she can either become obsessed with just Sayori, or she can see all your actions that you have tried to do, like I did. So it's something to do with the president as well. So, resume.
The way DDLC is designed, the way that Monika manipulates it, and the things that she says in her extended conversation with you all hint that there's something much more sinister going on with her. And that is the theory for today. That's right, dear theorists. The hidden truth of Doki Doki Literature Club is that Monika is from a different game. Monika is Flowey, who also happens to be Porky from Earthbound, who's really the purple guy from FNAF. Sorry, the rest of the theorist team just pulled me aside for a quick intervention. Apparently I'm banned from making any links between this game and Undertale. Or any game and Undertale. Really, I'm not allowed to touch Undertale anymore. But in all seriousness, Monika is from a different game. And not just Monika either. Doki Doki has a lot more to it than first meets the eye, even once you make it through the main story. Because the ending isn't even the ending. When you restart the game after deleting Monika, Sayori assumes the role of club president now, and things are pretty normal until the end of the first day, when you get perhaps the biggest twist of them all. Sayori now is self-aware, expressing the exact same desire to hoard you to herself that Monika did. So there's gotta be something that at least Monika and Sayori have in common, and possibly the other girls.
Okay, this is, pause, I'm sorry, this is really good. This is really interesting, because I had an idea, but this guy is taking it one step further. Let's watch. I'm really into this right now. Sorry, here we go.
Well, that's making all of this possible. See, there's something about the way Doki Doki Literature Club is designed that doesn't quite add up. Throughout your second playthrough, Monika reveals that she's been manipulating events behind the scenes the whole time, that she's been messing with Yuri, Natsuki, and Sayori's character files by amplifying their worst traits so that you'll like them less and you'll like her more. That's why Yuri goes from being a little bit clingy to being self-harming and obsessive, why Natsuki goes from being flirty mean to just being a plain old jerk, and why Sayori goes from being mildly depressed to suicidal in the span of a few days. These are all the consequences of Monika haphazardly adjusting their character parameters behind the scenes, but hold on a second. That might seem to make sense on the surface, but if you actually stop and think about it, that's not really how visual novels work at all. Visual novel characters aren't AI-based. Their behavior is determined entirely by what's written in the game's script. The game's dialogue script, not programming script. I can see how that gets confusing. There's simply no need for a character in a dating sim to have complicated behaviors like this. But what if they were created for a more complex game? What if the characters in Doki Doki Literature Club were intended to be used in a different game altogether? One where they would need to have more complex, believable responses to a greater range of player choice? What if their assets were simply repurposed from that game in order to make this dating sim? It's not just speculation. The clues are there, hidden in plain sight in Doki Doki's central mechanic, the poems. Over the course of the first act, you read poems from all the other club members, which seems pretty innocent. Sure, reading between the lines, you can start to get hints that Sayori is depressed, that Yuri is prone to self-harm, and that Natsuki is being abused by her father, but it's nothing overt. In the game's second act, you're given 3 randomly selected special poems out of a possible 11 that makes these hints much more overt. But there's one of these poems in particular that really stands out. A huge block of redacted text with only a few letters left visible, spelling out the question, that would be unsettling enough on its own, but if there's one thing Scott Cawthon has trained me to do, it's to run dark images through Photoshop and play around with sliders. If you crank up the exposure on that image all the way to max capacity, suddenly it becomes possible to read the full text, and man, it is weird. Irregular heartbeat, heart palpitations, arrhythmia. I search and search, eyes scanning everything I can find on their symptoms. What is this? Shortness of breath? Chest pain? Dizziness? No, this is all wrong. Alyssa's symptoms are nowhere near this simple. I've seen it twice now. The screams of pain, sickeningly pale skin, vomiting blood. There is no other explanation other than that Reynna's information was a complete and utter lie. This can't all be coincidence. It's not possible. I don't know how much of this Reynna is behind, but I do know this. There is something horribly wrong with this family, and I accepted the invitation to become a part of it. I can hear Alyssa's screams through the walls now. I listen helplessly. Reynna said he would be with her shortly. Is he in her room now? Why is she screaming even louder than before? Chilling, right? This creepy letter is literally hidden right in front of your face while you play this game. And what's it all mean? Well, those opening lines make it sound like someone who's trying to identify an illness. Irregular heartbeat, heart palpitations, arrhythmia are all possible problems of the heart, so it's not so much this person is making a diagnosis, but rather it's someone trying to read the symptoms he's seeing and figure out what the diagnosis is. It's a clinical assessment, which means that the speaker is a doctor of some kind. And notice the words he uses, their symptoms. It's an illness affecting multiple people, a family, as we see later in the letter. A family that apparently you can join, almost like a cult. It's also worth noting that this doctor who's speaking has some degree of detachment from this girl Alyssa, almost like she's a research subject of some kind, possibly part of a human experiment. And when you put all this together, a cult performing experiments on young girls, it starts sounding familiar. We hear about human experiments exactly 2 times in Doki Doki Literature.
In the book.
Both times when Yuri describes the plot of
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just remembering these things. Sorry to pause. But this brings back so many different things. Monika. I said there was something about that book because of how Yuri, in a way, gosh, what's the word? When I started comparing the character to Yuri in the first pass, Yuri was like, what do you mean? How so? Oh, because she second guesses herself. Oh, okay. Like that. Gotcha. Oh, but that's embarrassing if you think I always second guess myself. So there's that part. And then in the second part, it was more openly denying it. It was more openly like, no, there's no way I have any similarity to the open character. Also, Yuri's description of the book was more. It was different in the way in which, in the first pass, she talks a bit about how the main character is trying to, she's in danger, but she needs to do certain things, and her choices put everybody else around her in danger as well. But in the second pass, she actually talks a bit more about the story and mentioned that it's people that escaped from this, I don't want to say a prison, but this experiment facility, religious experiment facility. And so there's that as far as Yuri goes. There's also the aspect in which Monika, when I was sitting with her in Eternity for 2 hours, and I was just reading everything she had to say, she does start talking about the book. And I think I consider that important, and I slowed that down, as long as other parts that were important. She does start talking about the book, but then she kind of like stops herself. It's like, I shouldn't be talking about this. Never mind. Forget I said anything. And I said, no. But, okay, so the book is important. It does have a meaning. And if they come from that book, or something similar to that book, this goes beyond what I originally had picked up on. And this just makes my level of admiration of this game just get higher and higher. So that's really cool. Sorry for the pause. Here we go.
The Portrait of Markov.
That's
the
right.
Book that she wants to read with us. A book which has a, quote, ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. In the first act, Yuri makes it sound relatively innocent enough. Quote, basically it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange.
Right.
She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust.
Right.
End quote. In the second act, Yuri's personality gets a bit more unhinged, and she gives us a creepier description of what's actually going on these pages. Quote again, basically it's about this religious camp that's turned into a human experiment prison.
And they
all the
breed
people
them.
There have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to, and then she cuts off. That's a lot of information for a fake book, especially when you compare it to what we learn about Natsuki's favorite manga. And that's because what Yuri tells us about the Portrait of Markov isn't just a short snippet of text meant to create the illusion of a bigger story, it is the bigger story here. It's the plot of the horror game that Team Salvato is working on. The game that all 4 of these characters originate from. And if you think I'm done, oh no, we have just scratched the surface. We can dig deeper to uncover more about this horror game, including its title and release date, as well as how these 4 girls fit into the overall story, because Team Salvato left a whole ARG's worth of content hidden in Doki Doki's game files. If you thought that the Literature Club was interesting before, simply because it had these cool meta moments and jump scares, well, get ready. There's a whole other game here, just resting underneath the surface, waiting to be puzzled together, that'll start to make you really question everything you thought you knew about Sayori, Natsuki, Monika, and especially Yuri. But it's all way too much to cover in this one video, so ring the bell to subscribe, help us get closer to the glorified paperweight, so that way you can know when later this week, yeah, should be just a couple days, when part 2 comes out and things start to get really crazy. I am already excited for this new game, and I think once you see what I and a bunch of Reddit community members have uncovered about it, you're gonna be really excited too. And in the meantime, remember, that's just a Monika. A Monika. Just Monika. Just Monika. Just Monika.
Alrighty. That's really, really cool. That's so cool. I'm really intrigued now. My curiosity has been piqued. So let's continue. Game Theory, a Doki Doki Decoded, from Game Theory. Doki Doki Decoded, Doki Doki Literature Club. Starting now.
Just Monika.
He's still stuck.
Just Monika. 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 So last time we began covering the creepy, hidden mystery of...
You should not have deleted me, Monika. I am still here, and I still want my Yuri. Long time.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, and my apologies for any technical difficulties we may be having during this series. So in part 1 of this theory, we start to unearth a horror game hidden underneath the cute facade that is Doki Doki Literature Club. We found a letter hidden in plain sight alluding to human experiments and cults, all topics that appear in Yuri's book, The Portrait of Markov, a book that just so happens to have a mysterious eye on the cover. This all led me to concoct a theory that the 4 girls from the club are actually characters from another game. A horror game, in fact, being produced by Team Salvato, and that this is the reason that Monika turned sentient in Doki Doki. Her AI isn't meant to be contained in a mere visual novel game. But today is where things really start to go off the rails as we dive deeper into the Portrait of Markov mystery and cover the game within this game that's itself hiding a 3rd game. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you thought Monika was bad, well then, you should start getting really scared of Yuri. As you'll know if you finish the game, the character files in the game's directory play a huge role in the plot. Monika manipulates and deletes them one by one in her quest to make you love her, and ultimately you have to delete Monika's file in order to reach the game's true ending. But there's more in these files than just character information. Each of them is a puzzle in and of themselves, left in the game to be solved by the fans. And 2 fans of DDLC in particular stepped up to the challenge. Reddit users MitHost and WarChamp7 dug deep into these files and uncovered their secrets, posting their findings to the R Visual Novels subreddit, and the lore bits they uncovered broke the Portrait of Markov mystery wide open. So the character files on your computer start as .chr files, which isn't a real file format that programs can recognize, but that doesn't mean you can't open them. If you use a text editor like Notepad, you can absolutely see what's inside, and that's exactly what they did, with the text inside each file giving them clues as to what they should be doing next. Something about this visual novel makes me go through puberty. Yuri's file was the easiest to crack. It started as a bunch of random letters and numbers, but that pile of letter vomit was actually text encoded in base 64. It's an encoding technique that converts binary data into text, specifically ASCII text, the same stuff that Bob built his army using a few years ago on YouTube. That may sound like it's really hard to decode, but all you have to do is copy it and paste it into a base 64 decoder, like this one right here. When you decrypt Yuri's file, you'll see that it's actually a short story, a creepypasta which the game's director Dan Salvato confirmed that he wrote over 2 years ago and just stuck in the game as an Easter egg. It's a spooky story to be sure, but it seems to be just that, an Easter egg. A red herring. It is nothing compared to everything else hidden in these other character files. Natsuki's file came next, which, when opened in a text editor, gave the clue that this should be opened as a PNG file. Changing the extension resulted in this odd discolored image. But for anyone who's had some experience playing around with Photoshop, this color scheme may remind you of what happens when you invert the colors on a picture. It produces those signature blues and grays. So reversing that inversion, the picture suddenly starts to look like a real picture. And not just any sort of picture, a face. Rotate the image and wrap that texture around a 3D cone, then look at the cone from above, and it turns into an image of a mysterious blonde woman with whited out eyes. This woman doesn't resemble any of the other characters in the game, or anyone talked about by him. So perhaps then she's a character from the other game being developed by Team Salvato. Maybe it's Alyssa, the girl suffering the strange illness that we heard mentioned in the letter found in the last episode. Monika's character file, when converted into a PNG, turns out to be an image of a ring with a square of black and white static in the middle. But that's not just any static, it's a QR code, was what I initially thought, but nope, it's actually way more complicated than that. And huge compliments to the guys on Reddit for solving this one. It's actually binary. Computer language. It's a bunch of ones and zeros, where one number is represented by the color black and the other number is represented by the color white. So what MidHost did was to take those black and white pixels and convert them line by line into strings of binary, then convert that binary sequence into alphanumeric text using an online converter, which resulted in yet another pile of letters and numbers. But these should be starting to look look a bit more familiar, right? It's more base 64 code, which, when converted, reveals a note that really starts to bring all this together.
Can you hear me? Who are you? I can't see you, but I know you're there. Yeah, you can definitely hear me. You've been watching for a while now, right? I guess I should introduce myself or something. My name is... Actually, that's stupid. You obviously already know my name. Sorry. Anyway, I'm guessing if you were able to put a stop to this, you would have done it by now. I mean, I know you're not, like, evil or anything, because you've already helped me so much. I really should thank you for that. For everything you've done. You're really like a friend to me. So, thank you. So much. I think more than anything else, I really don't want it all to be for nothing. Everyone else is dead. Maybe you already know that. I'm sure you do, actually. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? Well, there's a lot of stuff I don't understand. I don't even know if it's possible for me to understand it, but I know that this isn't my only story. I can see that now, really clearly. And I think everyone else has had that same kind of experience. Some kind of deja vu. It's the third eye, right? Anyway, I could be totally wrong about this, but I really think you might be able to do something. I think you might be able to go back, or however you want to put it, to go back and tell them what's going to happen. If they know ahead of time, then they should be able to avoid it. They should. If they remember their time with me in the other worlds, they should remember what I tell them. Yeah, I really think this might be possible, but it's up to you. I'm sorry for always being so, never mind. I know that's wrong. This is my story. It's time to be an effing hero. Both of us. 2018!
Wow, that is a lot to unpack, so let's get to it. First, it seems pretty clear that this was written by Monika, as evidenced by the "you've been watching me for a while now" and "you already know my name" lines. It also seems to be written after Doki Doki's true ending, where she destroys the game. Notice how she comments that there's something you as a player can't stop, something that's killed everyone else, which is why she destroyed the game in the first place. But now come the bizarre parts. She says that she's experienced some sort of deja vu, and that this isn't her only story, supporting the idea that she's coming from somewhere else, perhaps, once again, a different game. And it's not just her either, it's all four of them. Quote, everyone else has had the same kind of experience. What's most exciting though is her suggesting that perhaps we as the player can, quote, go back and tell them what's going to happen. If they know ahead of time, they should be able to avoid it, meaning that we're gonna be tasked with trying to jog their memories, or that in this new game there'll be some sort of Easter egg calling back to the events of Doki Doki. Quote, if they remember their time with me in other worlds. Other worlds, like other games that these characters have been used in. That maybe we can do something in these other games to warn the girls and prevent Doki Doki from ever happening in the first place. And the conclusion is pretty much the most blatant. Team Salvato has another game coming in 2018, and in this game, Monika isn't the villain. She's the hero. Of everything in Monika's letter though, one reference in particular really stands out, blaming this deja vu on what she calls the third eye. And it's not just Monika either. This third eye is hidden throughout your time with the Literature Club. During Act 2, you're always given 2 regular poems. Once the game starts to break, the first poem that Natsuki gives you is a string of random letters and numbers, which at this point we're old pros at decoding. Using base 64, the text reveals a creepy hidden poem titled Open Your Third Eye, which describes the narrator taking pleasure in stabbing someone to death. The second poem that Yuri gives you seems, at first glance, to be a huge block of random words, but hidden in plain sight at the end of it is another ominous passage that describes a compulsive stabbing and concludes with the line, quote, the lust continues to linger through my veins. An ache in my muscles stems from the unreleased tension experienced by my entire body. Her third eye is drawing me closer. That's 3 characters now who've brought up this third eye. The same eye that happens to be described on the cover of the portrait of Markov. And remember what Yuri said about the plot of the book last episode. All the people trapped in the human experiments at the religious camp have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. That trait is undeniably the third eye. All of this points to Team Salvato's new game being about human experimentation, researching a psychic phenomenon that invokes uncontrollable bloodlust in the people exposed to it. Which brings us to the last piece of the puzzle, Sayori's character file, which is by far the trickiest to decipher. In order to unlock its secrets, you need to convert it into an OGG audio file, which sounds like a lot of random noise at first, but when you open that audio in a visualizer program and then apply a spectrograph to that visualization, you reveal a a QR code that, when scanned, takes you to the website projectlibitina.com. Whew, that is a ton of work just to reach a page of plain text. But the information contained within that text is eye-opening. Third eye-opening, that is. The page is an examination report dated January 5th, 2004, which describes horrifying experiments being performed on a 3-year-old psychic girl with the first name Libitina. Her last name is left blank. Another blank name appears at the bottom of the page, another subject who was terminated earlier. Based on the context of the redacted poem we covered last episode, it's my guess that this girl is Alyssa. Even the number of letters in Alyssa match the number of redacted letters in the name. That's far from the only parallel to the portrait of Markov that we see here, though. A note to the head doctor at the bottom of the page reads, quote, "You are choosing to avoid the measures necessary to prevent a repeat scenario, Doctor. Will you not have as much faith in your personnel as you do in your God?" End quote. Yuri says that the book is set in a religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison, which lines up pretty well with this mysterious doctor's reported devotion to a god of some kind, and the redacted poem's allusion to joining this mysterious family. Judging from the various notes on this webpage, the tests performed on the 3-year-old were all about activating Libitina's third eye, that lust for blood, which proved successful, but then, based on the failed test results, Libitina is then unable to suppress. But not only are we getting more and more clues as to the next game Team Salvato is working on, we're actually seeing exactly how our favorite club mates are gonna fit into the story, because I am confident 3-year-old Libitina grows up to be one of the 4 girls we see in Doki Doki Literature Club. And what's more, I can prove exactly which one it is. Libitina is a 3-year-old, and her height and weight are both average for her age, so there's not much to go on there. But if we look a bit further down the page, we see a list of noted behaviors that the researchers say should be ignored in future examinations. Twitching, vocal tics, biting, epiphoria, vomiting, screaming, harm to examiner, harm to self, misplaced laughter. There's one character who we see display almost all of these traits during Doki Doki Literature Club, particularly in that second act, Yuri. Once the game bugs out, Yuri's dialogue becomes the most erratic. We repeatedly see her eyes twitching when she talks to us, she screams a fair bit, laughs erratically at a few points, and that bit about self-harm? Hell, I don't think I need to explain that one. But these aren't the only clues that we have to go on. There are 2 more things that absolutely confirm that Yuri is Libitina. The first is her age. Libitina was born January 5th, 2001, which would make her 17 years old in 2018, the year that Project Libitina is set to release. As the only member of the Literature Club in senior year, Yuri is the only one of the girls in the right age range to be Libitina. But there's also one more piece of crucial evidence that absolutely clinches this theory, and the evidence isn't found in the game itself, or even in its data, or a random hidden webpage, but rather in the Doki Doki Literature Club merchandise store. Yeah! This guy is hiding clues in more places than Scott Cawthon. Team Salvato might not be offering much in terms of merch items, but the few items that are present reveal some very interesting details. So let's look at the posters. 4 of them are simply CG of each girl taken straight from the game. Nothing too exciting there. Another 4 are creepy original artwork featuring iconic quotes from the characters. Between all of these, there's this running motif of the girls being tied up in a red string. Even Monika has a bow wrapped around her, but Yuri doesn't seem to possess these strings. In fact, all of the red strings seem to be emerging from her heart, from this flower, whatever this is, ensnaring all the other girls, an allusion to Libitina's psychic influence over everyone else. But if that doesn't convince you, there are 2 more posters for sale featuring original artwork. One of these is a surprisingly cute picture of Monika handing you the song she sings you at the end of the game. It's cute. It's very cute. The last poster, called Yuri Unhinged, is a bit different. And when I say a bit different, I mean completely different from anything else in the game or on the site. It shows the quiet bookworm Yuri sitting in the classroom at sunset, toying with a knife. For someone unhinged, her posture seems oddly relaxed, even confident. In fact, it's the most confident we've ever seen her, like she's in full control of the situation. And behind her, we see all sorts of ominous text scrawled on the blackboard. And to her right, we see a poster. A poster with a big ol' Illuminati confirmed eye in the middle and the words "Help Me" scribbled along the top. This is the third eye, Yuri's third eye, and this is the only artwork where we see it depicted. Illuminati confirmed, Yuri as Libitina confirmed. Doki Doki Literature Club isn't just a free game made to promote Team Salvato's upcoming horror title, it's a part of Project Libitina. Monika is the upcoming game's protagonist, while Yuri is the monster at the center of the story, Libitina herself. This is why Yuri was so attached to the Portrait of Markov story. It is her story, and the disconnect from being put in the wrong game is the reason that Monika becomes self-aware. But hey, that's game theory.
All right. That is really interesting. The thoughts that are going through my head right now regarding let me start by fixing the camera. We're going this way, so boop, 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 boop. Not too far. Boop. All right. I'm at a loss for words right now because I'm processing this information. Now, he calls it a theory, but the way he facts his information and looks up supporting evidence to produce these theories really drives it and is the steam behind the message being delivered. I had no idea about how important the character files were. I know that there was something mentioned on the surface of the game. I never thought about looking in a bit deeper and try to like break apart things and find things out. But I do accept that he's on point when it has to do with the portrait of Markov. And the way how Yuri reacts to when I start comparing the main character to Yuri, it also leads me to believe that he's onto something regarding that Yuri is the character inside that story. Now, I don't know about different games, but what I think about is more like if they are in an experimentation facility, I believe that they're stuck in different realities, and perhaps these realities are in itself games. For example, Doki Doki Literature Club. Man, I'm thinking about so many things right now. I'm also thinking about Monika, how Monika said that the literature club, she created the literature club so that a place where everyone can be happy. But yet she didn't create the literature club. She took over the literature club. She misses the literature club. It meant a lot to her because she saw it as a place where everyone can be happy. So maybe she didn't make the literature club. It was a special place for her because everybody could be happy in this particular place. That makes me wonder about the other places that are out there, or the other realities that these four girls are going through. That's a lot of information to take in and process all at once. So it's possible that during this scenario, that kind of makes sense in a way. If you actually think about the fact that whoever assumes the title of president becomes self-aware, perhaps when running this reality, okay, I'm comparing it with different things, and I'm not giving you the details. Let's start with what I mean by multiple realities. There has been these series that I've watched in which you have the same characters, but the story and the plot and the environment is different. However, the character traits still stay the same. Excuse me, the character and the traits still stay the same, but the environment completely changes. And these characters were stuck in this reality, and then we as the viewer, we are aware of what's going on, but because we already have seen the beginning of the series, so at this point, when they start presenting it in a different universe, excuse me, in a different universe, so to say, let me explain it to you differently. All right, so you have these 6 characters, and they're living their life, and then something happened. There's a rift, and they all get sucked in. And then the next episode, it starts off their daily life, but in a different place, different world. Not world because it's still on Earth, but a different time era. But the character personalities that you've started knowing stay the same. The main character is his lazy self. The 2 other girls, they have their own personalities. 2 of them argue with each other. And even in this past timeline, they still share these traits. So their characters don't change. But what does change is the environment and where they live and how they live. So it kind of like the story is the same, but just with different setting. And then after the plot ends of that particular mini arc of the story, then it starts off again, but in the future. And the story goes on, same, not the same events, but events supported by the same actions happen and take place. And the characters are living their life, and then that other arc ends, and then it gets reset into a different universe. I call them universes because it's a whole different world, a whole different place, a whole different universe. So multiple universes all happening at the same time, but since it didn't quite work out the way it needed to work out, the story resets. But when it resets, it changes the environment, changes the setting, changes the elements, but the characters always stay the same. So I think of this when I hear these thoughts and these ideas in which these different scenarios have been created. And if it has to do with experimentation, perhaps it's a psychological experimentation in which they're trying to trigger these traits or skills. They're trying to open the third eye, so to say, using his words, by presenting and launching them into these different realities and then into these different alternate universes. And it seems like this particular universe was one that was not meant to be hostile or violent in itself. It was just meant to be like a high school scenario excuse me, it was meant to be like a high school scenario, with love and affection. But whoever's in the role of president is able to have a much larger perspective on everything that is happening all around them. And because of this perspective that the president is able to see, it makes them become aware that perhaps this is not a reality. Perhaps this is a simulation. Perhaps this is an alternate scenario in which the experimentation is taking place. But it has the potential to be a nice place. And perhaps that's why it became such an important place, such a special place for Monika, and in the end also for Sayori, because Sayori, when she became aware in the bad ending, she just becomes obsessed that she knows that there's an operator, in this case us as the player, the operator that is in the scenario, running the scenario, with the main character as his avatar. Perhaps the president is aware of this interaction, so to say, and the main character, or the president at that point, reaches out to the operator in order to help them escape this reality or change this reality. Now, all the hidden information that was being discovered, especially the letter to Monika, it does in a way make sense. I believe that we as the player were actually the simulator officer, so to say. They're all suspended in a virtual reality, and the scenario that we are executing right now is this high school environment. And then we are the simulation officers working on the computer, creating different options, manipulating the options that we have control over, and them as subjects are inside the environment, but the title of president is aware of everything that happens. Perhaps maybe when the code was constructed and they said, well, the president should be the person that knows about everything. Okay, well, let's give her administrator rights, so to say, for an example. Then whoever assumes the role of president becomes aware and able to have like a bird's eye view of the entire simulation that's taking place. Meanwhile, in the little glass room with the crystal wall or something, inside is the computer, and in the computer is the operator, the simulation officer. The simulation officer is running the simulation and inputting commands in the text and the different things. That's what I imagine in a way when it comes to alternate realities. Now, this guy calls it different games. It could be different games, multiple scenarios, different environments to trigger or to expose the girls or the subjects here in this case, to expose them to different stimulations, to different inputs, and see what exactly could it be that triggers these feelings and these emotions. Now, as the president, apparently there's no ending scenario in which you end up as, I guess, the girlfriend or the lover of the main character in the game. Because when reading, or not when reading, when going through the game, there really aren't many options. Or actually, Monika, first off, Monika is not included in the word selection in the beginning of the game. Monika is not included in the word selection of the poems. And she also complains that there's no ending for her, which makes me think that perhaps since she has administrator rights, she is able to also manipulate the game, but she doesn't have full control like the supervisor does. She just becomes an intermediate officer of the simulation, whereas the rest of the girls are just Sayori, Natsuki, and Yuri are playing in the field with the information already scripted to them. So their paths have been set, but I don't... It's a rabbit hole. I'll tell you straight up right now, that's a rabbit hole. We can dive in here and start thinking about how this could be constructed or how this is created. He says that Monika has her AI, perhaps. I think if Monika maybe is treated like an actual person. In the fictional reality, Monika could be an actual person as the other girls, but they are being experimented on, and they are currently, we were able to experience one of the simulations in the form of this visual novel game. Now, perhaps, yeah, perhaps in an attempt to escape or to, like, you know, seduce the security guard in a way, Monika reaches out to the simulation officer and says that she's in love with him. You know, I don't care what, I'm here for you. I can be anything you want me to believe. And perhaps that's a way of her to make him develop feelings or affection and bring her out of the reality, help her escape the reality. And then she can become the hero, like he said. She becomes the hero, and she starts saving everybody. Now, in the letter, she says that everyone is dead. Perhaps in that particular scenario, everyone is dead because the game crashed, the game ended. But it is possible that in reality, in the fictional reality, they're still alive, but they're being subject to other simulations in order to induce the awakening of that third eye. This is really interesting stuff, and I'm a little bit curious and excited to see where it leads to at this point. But yeah, perhaps the simulations, like he says, are games. I don't know about the well, he treats them as actual characters. I think a bit more personal, and the level of characters are real in that fictional universe. So I think of it more as they're people that are being induced into this virtual reality, and that's why they become self-aware, and they're given administrator rights, at least for the people that assume the role of president. They're given administrator rights, and they're put to the simulation. Perhaps that's why also Sayori doesn't know how to respond when you delete Monika. Right? When you delete Monika and then you start the game without Monika, and Sayori assumes the role of president, whoever has the role of president then is given administrator rights of the simulation, so to say. And when she becomes self-aware, she's like, what is this? Like, I can see everything that's happening. I can see the environment. Monika's not online right now, but Yuri and Natsuki are online. you are the simulation officer and you're interacting with us in this virtual environment through this main character. What is this? What's going on? This can't be all that there is. Make it stop. And the game crashes. So that makes me feel as if Sayori, while not being mentally prepared to assume the role of president, because the induction is good, and you can't tell apart that you're in a simulation. But when you're giving administrator rights, you're like, "Oof, what's going on? I can't handle this right now. I freak out. Make it stop." And perhaps maybe Sayori woke up inside the chamber where they're all, asleep, or where they're all connected to the simulator. Maybe she woke up and the program terminated because like, whoa, a subject woke up, shut it down. We gotta take control of this. So all these things make me think of it that way. Like, it's Doki Doki Literature Club is not really a game. It was more like a virtual simulation, an alternate universe where these 4 characters were being tested on in order to awaken this third eye, so to say. That's really something. That's really something. The information presented here by the game theory people, that's really good. Really good information. Things that I don't think I might have figured out unless I really, really start looking into it. But chances are, I don't think I would have looked into it. I would have called it at that. I would have stayed with the notion that the book that Yuri is reading is important, and it has to do with Yuri, and the other thing that I said, that whoever assumes the role of president comes with the rights of becoming self-aware. But now that he presents all these different details and all these different points, I can actually expand that a bit more and think of it as these games are simulations in which they're trying to awaken the third eye. And as club president, since you're going to be the president, you should know everything that's going on with your members. Then you should become administrator in a way and monitor on a separate field what's going on with these girls. And by then you'll realize that you'll realize that there's a simulation officer who is interacting with you guys through his avatar in the environment. So that's really good stuff. That's really good stuff. It's very rabbit hole. Very, very, like, you go in and you just keep uncovering different things and different things. So cool. I'm actually very intrigued by now, or right now, as to what's coming next down the line. If we're able to experience them making their escape. You could have made it stop. You could have made it stop. If you could have done something by now, you would have stopped it. So maybe the simulation officer doesn't have that much power. He needs to see through his simulation because maybe his supervisor, whoever's in charge of him, is watching over his shoulder. But Monika, and in the beginning, Monika is pleading for help. Please help me. And when Monika wants to talk with you, and the game goes dark, she says, "No, not yet, not yet." And then it goes into the poem. So clearly, so the simulation officer, this is something. This is really something. There's a lot of details still missing. But the game theory crew, or is it just one guy? Is it a guy? I'm guessing as a crew because he was working with the Reddit people as well. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm getting things wrong here, but so let's just call everybody, or if it's just one guy, let's call him Game Theory. So Game Theory picked up the information, put it all together, and delivered it to us in a way where we can understand it and be aware of what exactly is going on. And like I said, that allowed me to expand a little bit of my thinking as to what could this lead on to. Is Monika the main hero in this saga that we're being exposed to? Perhaps. Perhaps she is. Is Yuri the villain? Perhaps. It does seem likely because she does react. So it's possible that she also feels that way when compared to the main character of the Portrait of Markov. It feels that she was slightly aware that when you make the comparison with her. So it's possible that multiple scenarios have already transpired, and they're probably terrible scenarios where they're exposed to violence, death, other aspects. But then their minds get flushed, so to say. Their minds get flushed, and then they get induced into this alternate reality, alternate universe. And the literature club was the most special place of them all because it took the setting of a high school environment where everybody is friends. And they all spend time together. I don't know. I would have to sit down and really start thinking about this and write things down and just organize my thoughts better. Because going like this out of the top of my head, I can only go so far. I mean, I can go further, but it'll definitely take time, and I don't want to be sitting here for like 6 hours just talking about things and things that cross my mind. But it's good. It's really good. I'll leave it at that. How long have I been recording for? Holy crap, 90 minutes. Let's leave it there because that's a lot. Wow. That's really something. That's really something. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. To the game theory personnel, or to game theory, thank you. Thank you for the legwork. Thank you for the effort and putting things together and bringing all the information out. And it really helped expand my way of thinking and how I perceive things. Things that, like I said, chances are I wouldn't have looked into any of that. But you guys took it upon yourself, and that's impressive. Really good work, excellently done, and thank you. Thank you for searching for all this information. I appreciate it, and you guys are awesome. You really are. And to the creator people, we have. I want to remember their names. I can remember their names. I can't. I suck at names. I'm so sorry. Alrighty, we have Random Encounters. Oreo. Where's the name? Oreo, Reichi, Chi-Chi, and Kathy-chan, as well as Stupendium. Thank you. Thank you for such great fan content and amazing music videos. After I finish recording, I'm going to watch all of these again because they were just so much fun. But this is all great stuff. I appreciate everything. So thank you for your efforts, for your dedication, and your dedication is mostly it, putting in the effort to make these things a reality. So I greatly appreciate everything and all your efforts. So thank you. And to my viewers, thank you for your support and for just being a part of this, part of me. I value each and every one of you, and I love reading your comments. I greatly do. So keep them coming. I'll keep answering all of them. I think I've answered all of them, and if I haven't yet, I'm still getting to it, but I will. I usually do it within like less than a week, unless I have like periods of not being able to access the internet. So thanks. You guys are awesome. You truly are. I appreciate everything that you do. I truly do. So until next time, mouse on the button. There it is. Until next time, take care and bye bye.